Hi everyone, this is Lakshmi Om here from the Flourish Center for Somatic Healing and continuing our series on foundations of embodiment. I'm here to talk to you about breath. So most everybody by now can associate breathing or using the breath with calming down, maybe even managing anxiety, or helping you to fall asleep, or as a form of meditation. What I'd really like to talk about today is how to meet the breath without force as a way to really regulate your system. As a yoga therapist, I have done all kinds of really intense breathing practices, and the ones I'm going to share with you today are not that. The ones for today are really about very quickly bringing you back into the natural state of your breath and using your breath to turn down the dial on the stored stress, anxiety, and trauma in the body. So when we inhale, it naturally stimulates our sympathetic nervous system a little bit. When we exhale, it naturally stimulates our parasympathetic nervous system a little bit. Just as a reminder, sympathetic is our fight, flight, freeze. It responds and reacts. Parasympathetic is our rest and digest, and then if it's overactivated is our immobilization. Okay, so depending on how we accent the breath, different aspects of our nervous system will be stimulated. Those of you that are parents or have been around children, remember babies when they breathe and their beautiful round bellies, you see their belly and their rib cage move, like when they're sleeping, right? But if you look at any child or even an adult when they're upset, right? We breathe up, we use our neck, we use our shoulders. Those are our emergency breathing muscles, right? So when we breathe this way, it's really activating the nervous system. So there may be times that you want to do that. If you're really stuck down in immobilization or depression, then I would have a client accentuate the inhale, trying not to use the neck and shoulders, right? And then just a really relaxed exhale. And if you want to try that yourself, just as an experiment, feel free. Just take a really vigorous inhale and then just let it out. And notice what you feel happening inside your body. If you're sleepy, you might feel more alert. If you're already activated, you may notice an increase in activation. Now, try a gentle inhale and an exhale blowing out through your lips. We call that straw breath. So inhale and blow. Blowing out through the lips lengthens the exhalation. And notice the change after that nice long exhale. Right? So again, this is part of bottom-up processing. We're going straight into the nervous system and using the natural functioning of the nervous system to create change. So knowing this, you can really start to shift yourself. If you notice the dial's turning up a little bit, longer exhales. If you're feeling really stuck in procrastination, or fear, depression, hopelessness, just try one inhale and then let it out. And then maybe try another inhale and let it out. So this is using the science of the polyvagal theory and the autonomic nervous system to shift. Now, the next thing that I want to show you, I teach this to all of my clients. So if you're already a client, you're going to know this one, is what I call sideways breathing. And I learned this many, many years ago, actually as a dancer, where, we're really using our body in a very intense way, and we have to have very good lung capacity. I've worked with opera singers, and they do this as well. But really, this is how we should all breathe. So we have ribs from our collarbones all the way down to just above our waist. 12 ribs on each side, and each rib attaches into our spine in the thoracic level, right? So 7 cervical vertebrae, 12 thoracic, and then 5 lumbar. The only part of the spine that has rib attachments is thoracic. So now what I'd like for you to do, I'm going to change my camera here, is put your hands on your lower ribs. Here's my waist, no ribs. Here are my lower ribs, right? And push in a little bit on an exhale. Then on your inhale, push the ribs out. Out to the side, and then exhale, let them drop. Again, on the inhale, ribs out to the sides. Exhale, let them drop. So it's like having a bellows, the bellow handles, and we're going out and in. It's not a deep belly breath, and it's not a shoulder breath. Ribs moving out on the inhale and in on the exhale. Imagine your ribs almost like a handle of a bucket that's dropped down, and on the inhale it goes out and up, and on the exhale it goes down and in. Keep trying to breathe like this. As you're doing this, you're strengthening the muscles of your diaphragm, your intercostals in between the ribs, and the muscles across your back. You may even feel on that inhale that your back spreads. And exhale. Notice, even just a few breaths like this, what happens. And notice that you're not using your neck and shoulders. As we use these muscles, it naturally tells the neck and shoulders not to work. Now, if you have a really strong habit of breathing up, or let's say you've struggled with asthma, which is not unusual to breathe up, then you might have to think a little bit like, okay, don't use my shoulders, just use these ribs. And down. Try a few more breaths like that. No shoulders, keep the neck and shoulders relaxed. You could even try putting your hands there if a little feedback is helpful. Good. And now just check in. What feels different? In your whole body. So this takes some practice, also for muscle memory, but also because we're strengthening new muscles that maybe you haven't been using in your breathing. When we breathe like this, we're really creating space for the diaphragm to drop down on that inhale. Even though that sounds kind of counterintuitive, on the inhale, the diaphragm drops down, right? The ribs going out, diaphragm down. We get more oxygen down into the lower lobes of our lungs, which is also a signal for our body to shift from sympathetic activated state back into social engagement, safety, calm, grounded, curiosity. Now, how much we shift is individual. How many breaths it takes is individual. But the more you do it, the quicker the shift and the deeper you go. Okay? So practice these. 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there. Maybe every time you wash your hands, stop and take a breath, or 2 or 3. That way, we're breaking the cycle of the buildup of stress and activation in the system. Just multiple times throughout the day. You'll notice less stress at the end of the day, less activation, even maybe some better sleep. Especially if you are a breath holder. A lot of us have learned out of necessity and out of protection or reaction to trauma to hold our breath without even realizing it. And the beauty of starting to work with your breath is you actually start to notice, I think I'm holding my breath. Let me take a couple of deep breaths here. It's beautiful. Working with the breath is incredibly powerful. Now, if you want to do this in a more meditative way, or just as another example, this is my absolute favorite breathing technique. Now, those of you that have heard of box breathing or square breathing, this is not that. This is what I call pausing breathing. And what we're doing here is we're really listening to the breath. We're listening to the impulse to inhale and the impulse to exhale when we need to do it, as opposed to after 4 counts. There are no counts with this. What this does is bring the body into a deep state of relaxation and regulation that is not forced. You're inviting your system to step forward and the wisdom in your system to step forward and say, this is what I need. Because that's what our system wants to do. That's homeostasis, right? So the exercise is an inhale, and then you pause, and you wait for the impulse, the need to exhale, and then you exhale. And then you pause, and you wait for the impulse to inhale, and so on. So let's try a few rounds together. Exhale completely. Always exhale first. And then inhale, sideways breathing. Pause, and just wait. Some of you may wait a little bit. Some of you may wait longer. When it's time, and you know the feeling, you exhale, and then you wait. And when you feel the need, you inhale again. Each breath is going to be different. Each pause is going to be different based on the needs of your body. In the pause, just keep going. In the pause, just try to be still. Really pause everything. Like hitting the pause. I was going to say on your tape deck. Oh my gosh. But that's how I always think of it. Hit the pause button on your mind, on your thoughts, if you can. And just be with that pause. So one more breath here. Hang in that pause. And then exhale when you feel ready, when it's time. And pause. Relax into the pause. Excellent. And now just take a moment and check in. Do you feel more relaxed? Do Do you feel like your system is moving more slowly? Do you feel more present? Do you have more access to joy or happiness or peace? Do you feel more like yourself? Do you have more access to you? This is an incredibly important practice to work with, especially for those that struggle with anxiety or depression or have a trauma background and have not felt comfortable doing a breathing exercise because, oh, the counting, oh, this or that. I understand. And if it was challenging, that's okay. One breath is good. Right? One breath is good. No force. Don't force it. Embodiment is about developing a relationship with yourself, with your being, with your body, with your self with a capital S, with your emotions, your mind, and your breath, that is based on respect and compassion and trust. Trust in the wisdom that exists within your body, that it knows what to do if we just listen. So I hope you found these helpful. Work with them, play with them. Play with them in different instances when you feel different ways, and just see what works for you. Again, the more you practice them, the deeper your experience. And they may even just pop into your mind when you need them. As always, thank you so much. If you'd like more guidance, I'm happy to work with anyone who is interested. My website is theflourishcentersomatic.com, and you can set up a session there. You can also email or call or text, and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you and working with you in the next video. Bye-bye.